everybody. It's Dr. Carmen Bryant. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Thank you so much for joining me and all of your support. So hopefully you guys have been following me. I am doing a series, and that series is the narcissist weapons. And in that series, we're on part 3 of the first weapon, which is the power of persuasion, it's the power of persuasion. And I'm talking about the 6 principles of the power of persuasion. So that's just one of the, the third part of the series that I'm doing in the weapons that narcissists use. And so today we talked about the last 2 recordings I did. We were talking about the power of persuasion, and this is Dr. Robert Cialdini's 6 principles of influence. Those of you know that many times major companies hire organizational psychologists. They deal a lot with marketing and how to influence people, really how to manipulate people into buying stuff. You got the sexy girl laying on the top of a car, makes a guy buy the car. Or, I was laughing at somebody because I was watching a commercial and it showed what we call it, the maxi pad commercial or something. And if you wore these particular ones, you'll be skinny like the model. So I said, if I change my brand to pads, then I'll be skinny like that model. I said, I need to go change my brand so I can lose me some weight, right? Or if you smoke a cigarette, you all sexy and sophisticated. It's marketing to get to those your subconscious instincts. Get beyond those boundaries. To get to and really manipulate you into buying something. It's that's marketing. Unfortunately, that is marketing. Or now, if you look online where people are selling homes, they have those wide angle camera lenses that make the house look bigger than what they really are, huge houses. And then you go in, the room is just as big as a piece of paper. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not the angles, but it gets people in. It draws, just like the realtor said, it draws the people in because they're curious, they want to see. And then you can kind of convince them. And if you got good sales pitch, help them, to purchase that home, but think about it. That is marketing. So it's the power of persuasion. And so the last few videos, and this is the concept of 6 principles of influence that help persuade people, help people to be persuaded, especially like in the business industry, sales industry, marketing industry. And so it's principles of power and control, impact, and authorities. And so it's reciprocity, the principle of the law of reciprocity, the law of consistency, the law of social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. So those are all principles. And we went through, yesterday we went through social proof and liking. And today we're going to talk about the last 2, which is authority and scarcity. So, and keep in mind, y'all, I had to, before I came on camera, I was typing my notes because I was doing some studying, so I wanted to kind of follow. Normally I talk about something and I kind of free flow with it. This time I wanted to put it on paper and be the teacher that I am, and I'm going to kind of read. So I apologize if I'm not looking directly at the camera at you guys, looking right at you guys, but I'll be looking up at the paper that's up on the screen. And so the next 2 that we're going to talk about is authority and scarcity. Now, keep in mind, I was telling you guys that they're positive principles to be used in marketing and influencing people to increase productivity, to build rapport and team. And these are all the positive things. And anything that's positive that the narcissist, I'm going to say enemy, the narcissist will take it and make it into something that concerns them. So anything positive that's used, if it's working, they'll take that to manipulate people, not to influence people, but to manipulate people. And it works for them. And so they'll do it, but they pervert everything that's good. Good principles, they pervert. Good morals and ethics, they pervert it. So it's meant to be good, used for good. So think about it at how you can use it in your own business. And then think about how narcissists use it to manipulate people. And this is the power of persuasion. This is how you got hooked up with this individual. This is some of the things, the weapons in their arsenal that they use to manipulate people. Why are they so productive, or why are they so influential? How is it that people just fall for them? These are some of the reasons why people fall. Some of the people that are in high places that hold, major positions, and they're shocked at the fact that they fell for someone that really had no value, that was really less than. When I say less than, meaning that they were beneath them. This is not something that normally you would get involved with, or someone that you would normally get involved with. So Let's talk about authority. So people tend to trust people they believe or perceive or present themselves as being an authority. They usually have an influence on people. They will keep you from doing your own. Okay, so I went ahead of myself. So what I was trying to say is, and I apologize, people tend to trust people they believe or perceive to be an authority. So when a person presents themselves as being an authority about their appearance, how they talk, how they look, how they present themselves, you have to understand that with a narcissist, they mirror. So they get around groups of people that they see have major influences, and then they mirror and mimic what they're doing because they want authority, because they want power and control over people, not to lead and influence people. There's a difference. They want power and control over people, and being in a position of authority makes them feel like they're empowered. They don't understand that with power comes responsibility. With authority, those of you that have held positions of authority, supervisor, manager, like myself as a first sergeant, as a senior non-commissioned officer that had to lead soldier, the more power and authority you have, the more sensitive you have to be for the needs of the people that are following you. It is a position of servitude, but to a narcissist, it's a position of power and authority, and I can manipulate, I can get what I want because I can throw my power and authority around. So one of the biggest things, which is good because a lot of you guys do it, a person that is in a position of power, is good sometimes, well, most of the time, to give out the resources of where you got information so people will go and research for themselves. Always go research information for yourself, and then you can validate. A lot of you guys did that, and I provide you with resources, and you go validate what I'm talking about. And so when you validate and you see that person is a person that is, the information that they're giving is valuable or validated information, and you can read on it yourself, or then it may get to a point like, okay, I trust this person giving me the good information or the right information. Well, a narcissist doesn't care. They don't want you to go research because they'll take good information and pervert it with their own views. That's why you have a lot of people that come on, and well, I'll talk about that in just a second as we go down. So, they usually have influence on people that will keep you from doing your own research to validate what they're saying. And a narcissist doesn't like for you to go and research, because once you start researching and you don't believe everything that comes out of their mouth, you are becoming bad supply, because you are supposed to believe everything that I say, because they're going to pervert the truth. That's what they're going to do. So oftentimes people would depend on what they're told by that person, then they go and validate what the person is saying. And the reason why I said this a few minutes ago is that a lot of times when people come on YouTube, they come on YouTube and they give you information, and a lot of people just trust the information that they're receiving. They don't do a background search. They don't do research on their own to validate. And then a lot of times the information that they're providing when they're talking about narcissist abuse, there's a lot of coaches out there that are doing it. People that coming on, they're giving you their opinions. They're not giving you educated, they're taking education or putting it together to provide you with there's no credential behind what they're saying. There's no proof behind what they're saying. They're giving you their opinion and you're agreeing with that opinion. But some of the stuff that they're saying could be wrong. Partially right and partially wrong makes it wrong. Half a lie and half a truth makes it a lie. Just remember that. And we're going to get into that in a minute. So narcissists take advantage of that. And what they do is they mirror, they mirror those people in positions of authority. How they talk, the key words they use, phrases, their appearances. And so that narcissist gets around people they think that have power, people with money, people with influence, people in positions. They listen to their language. They listen to how they talk. They look how they dress. They look how they drive. What kind of jewelry do they or do they not wear? What kind of homes do they live in? And then they dress and they mirror and they dress the part. They talk the part. In the military, I was always told by my senior leader, do not dress and act where you are. Look ahead to where you're trying to go and learn. So he told me to always get around people of influence. Listen to their vocabulary. Start to learn vocabulary. Teach yourself how to be more articulate. Look at the people of influence and where you're going, because you are going there. But how do they conduct themselves? Remember social proof? How do they conduct themselves? Are they respectful? How do they conduct themselves? When they're eating, how do they sit? How do they dress? How do they dress? So a lot of times when people from the military come out, there's still a certain way that we dress, a certain way that we conduct themselves. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Opens up a lot of doors out of respect. And so that's a positive thing. But a narcissist does that because they're trying to blend in. They're that chameleon trying to blend in with and influence other people that they are of that level. That's that grandiosity, that entitlement, that illusion of perfection. And so they blend in with whomever they feel or think has influence. They looking like rappers with a bunch of cars, but they work at McDonald's. They driving around on a Bugatti and they work at Taco Time. Unless they got an inheritance from their family, I don't even know why you're working at Taco Time. But, so they present themselves, but people tend to flock toward people that they think have power, have authority. So these are some things that usually have people comfortable in believing you're dealing with an expert or a person of authority. Titles, like my title, doctor, doctor of education and counseling psychology. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. That's what I do. I work in my gift. I do what I do. I come on camera and I do what I do. However, with those titles, look and see if there's anything to back the title. You can't just, people call them doc or Dr. So-and-so, but yet there is no credential that backs that up. If you ask for my credentials, which on here it doesn't matter, but when people come into my office, I have my diploma sitting on the wall, my doctor's and my master's degree. I have my license sitting on the wall, and I put that there so that people feel more at ease that I'm validating my credentials, so that when you come and talk to me, that you know that I'm an educated, counselor. I've gotten education. There's a license that backs up my education that allows me to do what I do. Well, with a narcissist will present themselves as a position of power and will argue the legitimacy of what you're talking about or research or whatever, and yet you can't find any credentials. They don't have any formal training. They don't have any credentials. They have nothing. And there are people that come on, on YouTube. Some of them are well-educated coaches. Some of them are educated counselors. We're taking our education and we're blending it in with popular psychology to give you an understanding of the psychological dynamics that are happening when you deal with these people. And then there are some people that have not one credential at all. They don't have any credentials, and they come on, and a lot of you believe it because they're moving your emotions. They can sway your emotions. They can make you feel a certain way. That's a red flag. You guys be careful with that. Let's see. Titles. So it gives an impression of power, experience, and education. Clothing. How they dress. As I said yesterday, my mentor always made sure, hey, when you come on camera and when you leave the house, you're now a published author. You're on a public forum where people can see you. Always make sure you're presentable. Always make sure that you are presentable, that give you some credibility, that it's not that everybody got themselves all together, but it shows you that I care about myself. If I care about myself, then obviously I care about the people that I'm talking to. Well, a narcissist doesn't do that. A narcissist, they dress the part because they're trying to manipulate. So whether they need to look like I need to wear suits, and I'm not putting down anybody that wears suits or just casual wear or anything. I say dress your best. A narcissist, on the other hand, doesn't think that way. The way that they dress is to influence you, or not influence you, to manipulate you into believing they have authority by how they dress, the suits that they wear, the expensive shoes that they have on, and some of it be fake shoes. Fake shoes, fake watches, fake jewelry, but you guys see the name brand, the bling bling. You see the name brand. They done tape Louis Vuitton on their belt, and you think it's the real thing. They done took the belt, they done found the belt buckle at the Salvation Army at the Goodwill, and they done created a belt out of it. So now you think they're wearing a brand new Louis Vuitton belt that's not even out on the market, because you don't know nothing about that. See, because if you were riding with me and I'm a person of authority, I got the inside scoop. So I got the stuff, I got the snacks that come out and that haven't even come out in 2021. And so you got that Louis Vuitton belt, you don't know nothing about that. That's why I'm saying when you come to my status, you'll see some things that you ain't never seen before. We're going to get into that in just a minute. But their clothing, how they dress. But remember, they get around people that they feel like have power and influence, and they mirror them. How do they dress? What do they do? How do they talk? What clothes are they wearing? If I'm wearing an expensive watch, expensive shoes, expensive jewelry, expensive suit, It's going to convince the people, and most people are influenced, or, even the wealthiest of wealthy have been tricked into believing that someone that has nothing has something by the way that they appear, the way that they presented themselves. Another thing is trappings, accessories, jewelries, cars, homes, office space. What visual signs of power and control, what visual signs of power, authority, and position of wealth? They're driving around on an expensive car. Could be rented, could be somebody else, could be from the car lot. They test driving, they done came around you to show you the car, or they can't even afford the car. They sleeping in the car, but they riding around on the car, so it may not be theirs, they got stacks of money in their pocket. And the whole top of the big old stack is $100 bill, and the rest of it is dollars. But y'all are impressed. They are a hundredaire. So they're a hundredaire, not even a thousandaire. They're a hundredaire, and you guys fell for it. They got a stack of money in their pocket. Most wealthy people don't walk around with big stacks of money in their pocket to impress anybody. Because if you walk around with a bunch of money in your pocket, you probably don't have any in the first place, So the stacks of money in the pocket, for some people, that's impressive. For other people that are wealthy, they don't handle themselves. Wealthy people, truly wealthy people, don't walk around, trying to show off their wealth, because they know they become targets. So, and then, the homes, they have to have certain homes. They look at people in the homes they live in, they're going in debt trying to impress people around them. So this is the narcissist. So now let's talk about scarcity. That's number 6, the 6th principle, the last principle. So the principle of scarcity creates a subconscious sense of urgency. This is why oftentimes on Amazon or other platforms to sell goods or items, you'll see inventory low. You'll see like inventory low, 2 left, limited time only, limited edition, limited number, one of a kind. Use of competition, like on eBay, where people are bidding for an item so they can make money. And so in the article that was written by Samuel Hunt, he acknowledged that according to Dr. Cialdini, these principles are used to trigger your sense of urgency by passing what I call your subconscious gates and protective boundaries. And is used to trigger the subconscious instincts to react. So in other words, these words, limited time off, limited time, limited edition, this is the only time, this is the last time you'll be able to get this, and, coming to a location near you one time and one time only, coming out of retirement, or, this is a limited time offer to you, and there's, a limited spaces available, and this is the only time you'll be able to get it. So, therefore, many major companies employ organizational psychologists for marketing. Narcissists use these weapons to bypass your rational mind and cause you to react instead of thinking and responding. And so, and they're fast talkers. So they'll present themselves a certain way by either directly or indirectly alluding to, I'm using some big old words. Well, I put some big old words. I was shocked. Ooh, I got big words. They present themselves a certain way by either directly or indirectly alluding to they are a limited edition. It just feeds their already self-inflated sense of self and feed their grandiosity and sense of entitlement, because they are the best. You will never have anyone like them. You have never had anyone like me, and many of you have said it yourself. They present themselves to you to a point where many of you say, this is my soulmate. Many of you said, I've never met a woman or a man like this before. They are unique. I've never had anybody that has been so in tune that I can communicate with. And on top of that, easy on the eyes, handsome, beautiful. I've never met anybody like that. That's the whole plot, is to make you think that they are a limited edition. And trust you me, when you get in it and they tell you you'll never have anybody like me, that partner, that's like my sergeant major, my favorite sergeant major said, partner, that was the whole point. Partner. That was the whole point, to get away from you. I'm trying not to find an edition like you, because even though you're a limited edition, you are not unique. There are many more like you out there. So the whole thing is to present themselves as if you will never meet anybody like me again. That is the prayer that we have, that we will never meet nobody like you again. So this is how they present themselves. So this is that scarcity, the principle of scarcity. That wasn't very long, but that is the principle of scarcity. So hopefully that has taught you guys something. Now you have the 6 principles of the power of persuasion. And so those of you, stay in tune. because I'm still going on with the series, and the series is the weapons used by the narcissist. So this right here was just weapon number 1, and there's plenty weapons. I probably won't get through all of them, but this is just one of the weapons, and one of the weapons was the power of persuasion, and it was in a 3-part. I did it in 3 parts because I did 2 at a time. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to continue for the next weapons. I got to go research the next weapons we're going to talk about tomorrow within the series of the weapons that the narcissists use. So thank you guys for your support. Hopefully this has helped you guys to give you an understanding. See, when you become knowledgeable, when you begin to understand the game and the tactics that they're using, it makes you a dangerous person to a narcissist. It makes you a dangerous person to enough where, remember I said in another video that not all targets that they target, they get. Not every supply that they try to get, they get. And some of them are wounded from the first contact. And this is what I'm trying to build you guys up to, where you guys are keen enough and you guys, heal that heart enough where you become the narcissist's worst nightmare. That they're not willing to risk narcissistic injury because you have entirely too much knowledge. And this is to protect you from getting pulled in. Because once you get pulled in and your heart is in there, that's what makes it so complicated. That's what makes it complicated to get you back out. And that's what makes it so complicated from getting these narcissists to leave you alone. But if you never give them that opportunity, you put those gate guards up and you put those perimeter guards up to protect that heart and to protect that mind. And that comes from educating yourself. That comes from getting knowledge of the weapons that they're using to get in. And this is in businesses. For those of you who have business partners, those of you getting into business, because they come in business form too, friendships, families, romantic links, just people in passing, and you deal with narcissists all the time. So you can't get away from them. I deal with them all the time. But I do know how to handle them, and I know what I'm dealing with, so I don't get pulled and sucked into that vortex. And likewise for you, you got to be careful so you don't get sucked into that vortex. Once you get sucked into that vortex, it's hard to get back out because those winds are set. That Hoover is pulling you in and keeping you locked in. So hopefully this has helped you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel, Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Yes, doctor is legitimate. I do have credentials behind it. Since we just talked about it, I do have credentials that back up that title. Thank you so much as a doctor of education. So thank you so much because we just talked about it, so it's fresh on your mind. So I had to let you know. To all those newcomers, yes. Also, please look at my, go and check out my mentor's YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler Destiny Helper, and subscribe to her channel. She provides you with narcissist abuse information based off of a spiritual and biblical perspective. Give you a whole nother perspective what you're dealing with, from the spiritual perspective. And those of you that are not believers, that's okay. She breaks it down where you can apply it to your own belief system just like I do. And so thank you guys for tuning in. I have a book out. It's called Unmasking, The Illusion of Perfection. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. You can get Kindle, ebook. And those of you that are out of country, some of you guys have problems with Amazon sending it out of country. If you go to Westbow Press, all the information is under my video on YouTube. Westbow Press will send it out of country for you guys. Some of you guys have ordered and got your books in a timely manner. Also, some of you guys are inquiring about coaching. Yes, I do coaching. You're welcome to email me. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant at outlook.com underneath my video. And you can email me to inquire about cost, fees for coaching. Some of you guys have allowed me to enter into your life and to, first of all, to deal with your heartache, to help you maneuver. And some of you guys have been so successful, and I'm so grateful that you share those stories with me. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Every tear that I've cried when I was wounded, every tear when I laid on the floor and I cried and I prayed and I was hurting so bad, this right here is worth every tear when I hear your success stories, when I hear that you guys have made it out. And for you, you're going to be a blessing to somebody, because somebody's going to need to hear what you have to say to help them out of a dark place as well. And so those of you also, some of you guys need counseling first. Before you go look for a coach, go look for the counselor to help you with the emotional and mental health needs first. And you can find that on betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. They will provide you with a discounted rate for clicking on, because it's a sponsored link for me. Clicking on, you'll get a 10% discount. If you're dealing with some financial issues, let them know, because they will assist you with some grants. But some of you guys, and these are licensed counselors within your states. And so some of you can't find them like because you're looking for them, but some of them are online within your state. They could be like on the border of your state. You don't even know that they exist, and they will provide you with counseling. And when you look for the counselor, when you vet the counselor, ask them, do you know about domestic violence? Do you know about psychological abuse? Do you know the long-term effects of psychological abuse? Do you know post-traumatic stress, complex post-traumatic stress, parental alienation? Those are the questions you want to ask. Do you know about narcissist abuse? Everybody doesn't know about no narcissist abuse, but narcissist abuse is domestic violence. That's what it is. It just so happens that it's being perpetrated by someone that may have narcissistic personality disorder or even antisocial personality disorder blended in together, which is your formerly known as psychopath or sociopath disorders. And so thank you guys once again. You can find me on social media sites like Instagram and Facebook. I was going to say Barnes & Noble, Instagram and Facebook, which is Overcoming Narcissist Abuse and Psychological Health Consultants and Services. Once again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, and you guys go be great.